Presentation is going to be over how to write a book report. So 6th or 7th grade is the audience for this presentation, but of course if you're younger or older you can still watch. So here's an overview of what we're going to learn today. First we're going to go over types of essays. So just basically the types of essays you're probably going to be assigned in middle school and high school. Second is the first step of writing an essay, which is research. So you have to know what information you need to include, of course. Third is body paragraphs. You have to know what to write in the body paragraphs of your essay. And last is introductions and conclusions. So first, we're going to go over parts of an essay. Introduction, that's going to be the first paragraph where you introduce your book, your topic, and you describe what your body paragraphs are about. Second is body paragraphs. Most essays you write will have 2 or 3, maybe more or maybe less, but every body paragraph you want to make sure it answers one part of the prompt in detail. And last is conclusion, which is pretty similar to the thesis. It's just a restatement of the summary of your essay, and then like a world connection. So we'll go over that a little bit. First, types of essays. So you always want to make sure you know which essay you're writing. This will be in your prompt or in your rubric, or you can just ask your teacher. So first is a book report, and this is just analyzing books you've read. If you see something in your prompt that says plot, theme, mood, tone, it's going to be a basic book report. Personal essays are going to be relating your book to yourself or personal experiences. And research papers are essays on broad topics that you have to research. So this will be probably in history. You'll read a historical fiction book and you'll research part of that plot. So second step when you're writing that book report is research. So first you have to read your prompt, decide on your topic. Make sure when you're writing an essay, always make sure you're answering the prompt. That's the first thing you want to make sure you have in your essay. Second, go through your book and highlight or take notes on lines that relate to your topic. If you don't want to have to go through your whole book every time you have to write an essay, you should make sure you're taking these notes as you read. So if you're reading in class, just take a pen, circle, star, wherever, when there's a new character, when something important happens in the plot, when they change settings, or just other things your teacher is probably going to tell you to look at. Step 3, write all your information that you found plus your page numbers. And 4 is organize your information in an outline that makes it way easier to write your essay when you have all your thoughts organized. Third, we have body paragraphs. So this is the biggest part of your essay. Usually you'll have 2 or 3. Every one needs to have a topic, evidence, reasoning, and conclusion. So your topic sentence is where you introduce your main idea. This is going to be where you basically summarize what the rest of your body paragraph is about. Evidence is where you find just pieces of the text or moments in the story that support your ideas. And your idea is going to be your topic sentence. So your evidence should always go along with whatever your topic sentence is saying. Third is reasoning. This is where you elaborate and add detail to your evidence. So this is where you explain how your evidence supports your topic sentence. And your conclusion is where you end your paragraph and transition into the next one. So the last thing you want to work on is introductions and conclusions, and a lot of times these are the hardest part of your essay. So they're both basically summarizing the rest of your essay. You want to reference all the ideas that your body paragraphs are about. So all of your body paragraphs are going to have separate topic sentences. You want to find a way to put that all in one sentence where you can just hit every idea you talk about. You should have a topic sentence, a sentence explaining how your essay relates to your prompt, That's called the thesis, and a conclusion in both of these. The introduction should also have a sentence with the book and the author name. I'll show y'all how this looks a little bit later, and the conclusion should have a world statement, so I'll explain that a little more. So let's practice. Alright, so if you go to the Google Slides and you click this link, this is a PDF of a super common short story that you may or may not read in middle or high school. I read this in 7th grade. I think I had to write like an essay on it. You might have to do this next year too. So our prompt is going to be, what are some themes present in the story? How do they have an effect on the ending? So a theme is a central idea of a story. This is a super common word you're going to hear in English a lot. Your teacher's going to ask you, what's the theme? How is the theme present here? You want to learn how to look for themes in stories and how to explain what they are. So first we have to read the text. While you're reading, try and pick out lines that answer the questions you asked. So here's a little example of that. The highlighted parts are the evidence we're going to use later, so you can see why it's important to annotate your book while you're reading them. It's like annoying, it makes you read slower, but it's going to make you write your essays a lot faster. So first, Margot stood apart from them. This is showing isolation, which is one of the themes of All Summer in a Day. And it's showing how she's different and excluded. And notice how I wrote the page number down on the right side of this screen. You always want to do that when you're gathering your information, just so you don't have to go back and look through your book. Our second evidence is, and so the children hated her for all these reasons of big and little consequence. This is an example of jealousy in this story, which is also another main theme. It's just showing how all these kids are jealous of her for all these random reasons. And it's on page 3. And our last one is showing bullying, and that's also another theme we're going to write about in one of our body paragraphs. So here's an example of one of these body paragraphs I wrote for y'all. It's pretty basic, it's not great, but I want y'all to see all of these parts of a body paragraph that I've like shown for you here. So first is topic sentence. Isolation is a major theme that can be seen in the characters and plot of All Summer in a Day. Pretty basic, it's not great, but we are mentioning what this whole paragraph is about. And we have theme, and it can be seen. So that's the claim we're going to be supporting with the evidence. So my evidence is, this theme is seen early in the story, showing that Margot stood apart from the other children. And notice how I blended this quote into my sentence. You don't always have to use the whole quote. You can change it a little bit to fit in with the rest of your writing. Always make sure to cite. So I wrote down the page number, and we remember the author's last name. So we go parentheses, last name, page number, close parentheses. You always want to do that just to avoid plagiarism, and that's the way you're going to do it through high school. So, and our reasoning is, this early instance of Margot's separation from her peers is mirrored by the ending of the story, where she is physically kept away from everyone else. And this is where we talk about plot. So, this is just going into more depth of why this quote supports our claim that isolation can be seen in this story. And then our conclusion, restating that isolation, seen in Margot's physical and mental separation from her peers, is a driving force in the plot of All Summer in a Day. So you can see how that looks a lot like our topic sentence. And it's just basically restating our claim. So we're going to move on to introduction and conclusion. So you can read these two introduction and conclusion paragraphs that I wrote. Again, this is all pretty basic templates of what you're going to need in every introduction and conclusion you write. So notice how I have the author name, the title of the story, and I've hit all the themes we're going to be talking about: isolation, jealousy, and bullying. And then conclusion is super similar. Name of the story, isolation, jealousy, bullying, and then a little bit more about why this relates to the prompt. So here's some things to remember while you're writing essays. So always, if you have questions about your prompt, ask your teacher. They're the ones who are grading your essay. They're going to know what they're looking for. And if you ask your teacher, they're going to give you a real answer. They're not going to try and trick you. That's not what they're for. If you go, I don't understand what a theme is, they'll let you know what they are. If you follow your teacher's directions and answer the prompt, your chances are you'll get a good grade. If you don't think you're a strong writer, don't worry about it, because all you really need to do is come up with an outline, remember the things you need to include, answer the prompt, and if you have a rubric, always follow it, and you'll get a fine grade. This is a big suggestion. You don't have to do it, but I think it makes writing essays a lot easier. Write an outline first so you know what ideas you want to include. This can just be a bullet point list that you separate into body paragraphs. This could be a little outline map. I'll link some of those later. But it's just going to make it so much easier, and it'll make your essay go so much faster if you have an outline. When you're answering your prompt, come up with simple ideas and then explain them in detail using examples from the book. So you could go either way with this. You could come up with your ideas first and then look for examples in the book. And some people find important lines or actions in the book, and then they build their essay off of that. So just whatever works for you. Not everyone is doing it the same. So if you don't know something, Google it. This is I don't know if all teachers agree with this, but I know when I started getting all these complicated prompts that had words I really didn't understand, I Googled it. So if you don't know what the theme of whatever story you're reading is, or what a point of view has to do with anything, Google it, and there'll be some examples or a little bit of information there. So don't worry. Just remember, always use your own ideas. Don't plagiarize anything. Just use sources for inspiration and then come up with ideas yourself, okay? Don't freak out about your essays. If you figure out a way to map your ideas, take it step by step, it's gonna go a lot easier. And the more you write them in middle school and the more you start practicing now, you'll be so much better, and you'll get them done a lot quicker when you have harder prompts, harder books in high school. So I want y'all to practice and come up with a writing process that you're comfortable with. If you're one of those people that just wants to write your essay all in one go and then edit it later, that's fine. I know a lot of people who do that. But if you really need to write out your ideas, check your rubric, check your prompt, that's good too. You just have to know what you're comfortable with. So when you have to write essays in class or on a test, you'll know what to do. Okay, and last, make notes as you read books. I talked about this a little bit earlier, but this is really important for when you have longer books, when you have books that you read over a long period of time so you might forget stuff. Sticky notes, write them down in the Notes app, whatever you need to do to remember important things that happens in your book. And a lot of prompts are going to be about characters, theme, symbolism, and something called mood and tone. So you just want to focus on annotating on those things, so when you have a prompt, you'll be ready for it. And here's some practice work for y'all. So if you go into the Google Slides again and you click on these links, first I have a link of a doc for short stories. So this is just a list of ones that I remember reading or other people really have read in middle and high school. You can just familiarize yourself with these. You don't have to read all of them. This is just so you kind of get what's going on in the kinds of stories you'll be reading in the next few grades. And then I also have a doc of prompts. So you can write an essay, you can write body paragraphs, or you can just write an outline. Or you can even just think about the questions, because I think they're pretty similar to the ones I've gotten in school. So if you know what to expect, it won't be so overwhelming when you get these prompts in actual class. And I have two essay outline worksheets that you can look at just to see if it'll make it easier for y'all, or if this is the kind of thing you want to write your essays with. Alright, about me, my name is Nicole Wittering. I'm an 11th grader. I love baseball and I love watching TV, of course, and I really hope this presentation helped y'all out. Writing is something that I was kind of nervous about, especially when I started high school, but these are just some things I've learned that made it easier for me. I hope it makes it easier for y'all. Here are my sources. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you learned something.